Our last weekend at home, which was absolutely crazy. I know we have one more match midweek, but had a nice opportunity to recognize our seniors. But as I told them, I'm not going to talk a lot about them just because we do have a lot more we want to do. But just incredibly thankful for the crowd that came out and supported us. Especially, it was a great way to have a senior night for those for seniors. We started off the Indiana State match, I thought, really strong. And then Indiana State came back with a few adjustments and just played really relentless, scrappy defense. And I thought we didn't respond real well to that to begin with. We ended up dropping the second set, and we won a very, very tight third set before we were able to win in four. I thought a couple strengths for us that night was our backcourt defense as well. I thought Aaron and Kira just kind of led the way with that and kind of picked up their defense as well. We were without Olivia that night, and Kara came in and I thought did an excellent job being her first start of her college career with us. So she did a great job. And then I also want to give a lot of credit to Kaylissa. I think she really stepped up and had more workload for her offensively without Olivia being in there, and she just did a great job and was really a nice presence in there the entire match. So very proud of her. Evansville, thought we came out and just executed extremely well. One of the best matches I think we've played as a whole. I talked about two kids that were in the top 10 in kills, and we were able to hold one of them to 100 and the other one to negative, and then didn't allow anyone else to hit over 100 or also hit negative. So I'm extremely proud of that. I think that was a combination of a lot of things. I thought we executed a very specific game plan very well. I thought our block setup, which I talk a lot about, and execution with that was strong that night, and then just adding in our backcourt continuing from the night before. We're all a part of that. We also hit over 300 as a team, so just kind of firing on all cylinders. So again, I told our team the best way you can honor our seniors is to go out and give everything you had, and I think we definitely did that. I do want to just point out Kira Fowler. She has just been a rock star for us all year in terms of just a kid that has a lot of workload for us. This weekend, she had two double-doubles. I've talked about her defense already, but she led us in kills both nights. But I think even bigger than that was the attack percentage at which she did that. But just really proud of her. She passes in 5 of the 6 rotations for us, and teams pick on her. They serve her. They try to wear her out. Because she has so much workload for us, and she's just really stepped up this year and done a great job. Some matches she's kind of the unsung hero because the stats don't always tell the story, but just really proud of her and what she's been able to do this year. Heading into the weekend, extremely tough weekend for us. We play UIC and Valpo, who are sitting at 3rd and 4th. So it's interesting. Our last 3 matches, we played 2, 3, and 4, just how it should be, I guess. But UIC, they had a couple losses about a month ago because I look at it, they were without 2 of their top players in the same matches. So I think that definitely had an effect on them. But just playing very strong offensively. They're second in points scored. They're the team that runs it extremely fast. We talked about Valpo, UIC being 2 completely different teams. So they run it really fast. They have the second point scorer in the conference, and then very balanced after that. Both of their middles are hitting at a high efficiency. I think they're top 5 in the conference. Defensively, just very physical at the net. They're the top serving team in the conference. They're leading in aces, and I think they have even 3 players that are in the top 10 in service aces. So just a team that is playing really well, does a lot of things really well. When you look at Valpo, also a strong team, very different. I think their biggest strengths is their relentlessness and scrappiness on defense. They're leading the league in digs, but they're going to be the team that tries to force you into hitting things you don't have. We know that very well, so a lot to prepare for there. And then offensively, they're very balanced. They have all their kids range from about 1.5 kills to 2.5 kills, and they pass the ball well enough to be able to set anyone. So they're very hard to defend in that way. They also run a middle system where it's a lot higher set, so their tempo is very different than anyone else. We play in the middle, but then fast at the pins. So a lot to prepare for too. Like I said, very different teams. So we'll have to figure out how to do that in this week's practice. Any questions?
Julia Cardone has been leading the nation in kills and is averaging maybe 15 a match, even if it just goes 3. You held her to 15 across 2 matches, and she hit around 0 across them as well. So what was the biggest part of the defense that allowed you to have that kind of success against her this season?
Yeah, I'm just so incredibly proud of that, Chris, because like you said, she's a kid. Everybody knows the ball's going to her, but she's still able to get the kills that she does. But I think it's just a combination of the execution of our block and being able to defend around it. She's different because she hits on the right side. Usually your big time hitters are hitting on the left, so it presents some challenges. But I think we've just done a really good job. Emily is one of them that we had matched up with her. I think Emily is the best left side hitter in the conference, so that helps a lot. And then just being able to defend, because she's also a kid that can throw in the off speed. So we had very specific ways we were handling that, and I think our kids just did a really good job of executing that.
You know, and continuing with defense, how impressive has Erin's season been, not only just at her serving in defense, but coming in as a new person into a leadership position, and not just what she does with the team there, but how she fits in with the culture?
Yeah, and I think, that's the biggest part, because you want your libero to be somebody that's well trusted and well connected on the team, because they're running the backcourt for us. We want them to run the backcourt. We don't want to be the ones in charge of it being off the court. So your liberos, you put a lot of leadership into that position alone. And she's just worked really hard at building relationships so she could build that trust to be able to be that leader. So she has that, and like you said, she's been executing skill-wise. We have her in charge of our passing. Her and Kira do a great job together, but just she's also that kid that's gonna when things are, you need that punch, you have it, because she's gonna make that big play. So very proud of her, and it's not easy to do. She comes in from being in another program and has to build those relationships when people have already started those relationships. So she's kind of a freshman, but not really.
You guys get the double bye, had that last year. What's that do for you going into the NBC tournament?
The double bye, especially this time of year, is huge. Just, it's hard for coaches because you sit around a lot and you watch a lot. But just physically, not knowing that, you play one match. If you win, you only have to play one more, is huge. Playing 3 matches at this time of year would be really difficult, just because you're a little bit more beat up. And even what we do after a weekend, taking 2 days off and different things like that. So I think the biggest part is the physical part of that, just being able to have that break. And like I said, the challenging part is just sitting around, and you got to find things to do to keep your mind in the right place while you're watching other teams get to compete on the court that you haven't got to compete on yet. But very thankful. That was one thing that we wanted to check off this weekend. Get that one win to secure a first or second in the tournament for sure. Yes, she will be back, and she's somebody that we're kind of, we're figuring out how to work her in, but she's definitely somebody that will play this weekend. Okay. All right, thank you.